Hi, I'm Christy Woody. I'm the staff photographer at Union University. Occasionally, we ask people to submit a photo of themselves for a feature article or social media post, and we thought it might be helpful to give a few tips on how to get the good quality photo in your own home. This is especially important now that we're all sheltering in place, so any photo for a feature is going to have to be a submitted photo. For indoor photos, I like to suggest natural light if possible, because the direction of the light is going to be more flattering and the color of the light is usually better. So lights coming from overhead are going to create a lot of shadows, and usually indoor lights are more on the yellow side. So once you've found the room that you want to take your photo in, you're going to find your window. So in my case, I have two windows, one right here out of the frame and one here kind of behind me. For the video, I'm standing kind of between the windows because I want the light from this window, but I also wanted to be far away from my background. But for a photo, I would probably come back here and stand to get like closer to the wall. You'll notice there's a little bit of a bright spot back there right now because the sun is shining directly in. So ideally you would want to get a time of day when there's a lot of light coming through, but maybe not like direct sunlight, because then you're going to have some harsh shadows. Once you've found your window, just make sure you position yourself either right across from the window, so I could potentially stand like this and shoot this way, or you want to stand to the side of the window and slightly behind the window. If you're right next to the window, I don't know if you can tell how the shadows on my face changed. Now it's a lot brighter on this side and darker over here. But if I just step back, then it's a lot more even because it's all coming from more in front of me instead of directly to the side. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of where to stand in relation to the window. The best is going to be right across from the window, but that may not always work with your background. Speaking of backgrounds, when you're looking for where you want to take your picture, you want to look for a really clean background. So a completely solid wall is perfect, or if you can't find a solid wall in your house with good lighting, you could have like a plant in the background or abstract art. Just try to avoid really distracting backgrounds like a wall of family photos or art with words on it. Anything that's going to be distracting and busy, you want to avoid. So in this case, I have a completely solid gray wall behind me and the window is directly across from me. So this is probably where I would choose to take a photo in my house. The dining room is fine, but that bright orange is probably not as nice as the gray. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of the window situation in there, how you could use windows to your side, because I know that can be a little tricky. So hopefully that was a little helpful. But anyway, so another option would actually be to go outside if you have a nice weather day, or if you have, I don't know, pretty trees or something you want to use as a background, that is totally fine. What you want to avoid is harsh, bright sunshine. So you don't want to stand right in the sunlight. If it is a sunny day, you can still make that work. What you're going to need to do is find a tree or something that provides shade, and stand in the shade. But when you stand in the shade, don't face what is shading you. So if you have, let's say, a shed out back and it's shading a part of your yard, so that's fine. Stand in the shade, but you need to face out so that the light from the sun is going to still hit you. So even though you're in the shade, you're still getting some sun, if that makes sense. It's called open shade. So if you're under a tree, you don't want to face the tree trunk because the tree trunk is just going to block any light from getting to your face and you're going to be in shadow. But if you face away from the tree trunk, then that sunlight is going to come underneath the tree branches and still give you some light. So hopefully that makes sense. You can definitely Google open shade and see what I'm talking about visually. And that's kind of how I do any kind of portrait work I'm doing. If it's a bright day, that's what I look for, is open shade. And then if it's an overcast day, you have a lot more options of where to stand, but you still want to make sure that you're facing where the sun would be. So you still don't want to like face a building and have a lot of light blocked. So let's say let's say you want to stand in front of this really nice building with pretty white columns or something. If there's nothing in front of you, that's great. You're gonna get a lot of good light. If there's like 2 or 3 trees in front of you, they're still gonna block a lot of that light from you, and you're gonna end up with a really shadowy picture. So just try to look for open area in front of you and let the sun light you up. One last tip I have for you has to do with posing. So a lot of times I get asked, how should I stand? And honestly, there's really not a perfect answer because everybody feels comfortable standing in different ways. So my advice is just to stand however you feel comfortable and natural. So if that's, hands in your pockets, like real casual, that's great. If you like to stand with your one arm in front of the other, that's great. You could even do like arms crossed or hand on the hip, whatever feels comfortable for you. I do always like to advise people stand with your shoulders angled just a little bit. So you're not gonna be like completely square to the camera like a mugshot. You wanna give a little bit of an angle. You could always tilt your head a little bit, and then of course smile. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I enjoyed making it for you guys, and if there's any other photography related videos that you wanna see, let me know, and yeah, I'll work on it. Bye.